If you show up and you go through that process and you connect one-on-one with your coach as well as your group every single day the way it's designed, in 14 days, if not sooner, you'll go from idea to profit in that business. Hi, it's Lady Individuality, here to tell you about the Land of Everfree. The Land of Everfree is a virtual, I like to think of it as spiritual type playground for women over 40 who feel that there's more to life and are ready to lighten up so they can rise higher and make their mark right here and now. The Land of Everfree was created to help women over 40 who feel that they have a mission or a purpose to accomplish on earth. Perhaps they need clarity in getting it out, or perhaps they need to other like-minded souls to understand and help them understand what it is that they're growing through. Perhaps they feel misunderstood or like they're black sheep, but they know that they're here for a purpose and they're ready to discover that purpose, and they'd like to be in a group of other spiritually minded sisters. A small group, that is. The Land of Everfree is different from other virtual communities in that it takes a light approach to growth. We're not children anymore, but you think about when you were a kid, how your imagination was able to go anywhere. And you created things because no one told you couldn't or could stop you. But as we became adults, it's kind of like there are all these restrictions, and we got comfortable doing what we were doing. And then when that was no longer there, it's like, oh no, now what do I do? Where's my identity? And so the Land of Everfree, it gives you permission to go back into that child playful like stage to dream again. Perhaps you know what your vision is, perhaps you don't. But either case, it's going to help you be able to go play and bring it to life among adults. I think one of the best features that we have to help bring the playfulness into Everfree is not just divination tools, like whatever you have that connects you with your spiritual guides, whether it be oracle cards, crystals, crystal balls, tarot. But we also delve into metaphysical, I like calling it a form of divination. Some people call it science, but it's called numerology. And pretty much what numerology is where you base your life path or your soul urge on your name at birth and your birth date. You see, no two people have the same one, and it applies to you no matter what gender, no matter what culture you've raised in. And it helps you get a number, and each number from 1 to 9 has an energy associated with it, and your energy in that particular life path number, along with other core numbers that numerology has, it kind of like creates a blueprint for you. Not just a physical blueprint, but a blueprint I like to call for your soul. And so when you learn to look at yourself as a number, and then you learn to look at other people as a number, for me, what that does is it takes off prejudices and it helps see me for who I am and who I came here to be. And it helps me to understand other people and why they do things the way they do as well. Yeah, and some of the tools that we use, I'm a life coach, spiritual life coach. So a lot of the tools I use are, as simple as reframing thoughts, beliefs, and also I like to call it human connection. It's like where you go into the future. It's like a little program where you go into the future and you see yourself already where you want to be. It's kind of like we use a lot of laws of universal laws and manifest, and not just the law of the attraction, but actually feeling and being there in that space. And another thing that makes it different is that we don't just meet with you once a week. We meet with our members every single day. And most of the processes we create, if it's not like a workshop or a class, they're 7 to 14 day processes where, say you wanted to start a business. If you show up and you go through that process and you connect one-on-one with your coach as well as your group every single day the way it's designed, in 14 days, if not sooner, you'll go from idea to profit in that business. And so we are a rapid progress company. And a lot of times counselors, therapists, and all that, they try to work with people in the past and fixing them, if you want to call yourself broke from a past perspective. But I like to think of my company as taking a proactive approach. We look at where you are and where you want to go and what you need to do to get there. And if stuff from your past comes up on the way, we deal with it then. And one thing with the daily interaction, if you're familiar with like group energy or synergy, like the Land of Everfree, that's a Facebook space, and it's like up to between 40 and 100 people we're looking to get each year for that space. But where the main magic happens if you join one of our mastermind groups. And the reason it's such a rapid progress is because you think about what it is that you're wanting to accomplish, and then you got six other people in the room with you, and those 600 other people, they have experienced the world in different ways than you have, and then you got the law of attraction. So something in that group is going to twist, even if you're not working on the same project. There's going to be something there in that group from each individual person that's going to help you with your mission, with what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And that's what they call like group synergy. That's why like it's good to have one-on-one coaching, but I'm just one person. I'm sure I had a lot of experience in the world, but when you add other people to that mix, then it's like a whole new world opens up. And one other thing, not just with the mastermind groups, it's not just the group synergy, but each of those members, they bring their own spiritual, I like to call them teams or squads or whatever. And so then you have, when I was in the religions, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, when one or more of you gather into my name, there I am. And so you think about all that spiritual power that's there. Um, and unlike the Gay or Mind Valley, because I've never actually been in one of their physical communities, but as far as I know, they're not some that meet every single day. Because that's the thing, life happens, and if we don't stay on top of our projects until we see them in reality, then a lot of times they keep getting pushed further and further back because other things come along. And so our communities, again, they're very small compared to other communities, and I like that because for me, it helps me move faster. And if for those who are more introverted but still have a mission and a big purpose here on the earth, you might fit well into these groups. I think some of the biggest outcomes that I want my members to experience is confidence. Because so many of us have been told that we're not worthy, that we can't do it, and given all these limitations, I want them to be able to take those titles off and, use them to empower themselves if they got to be there. I want them to create a new identity, so to speak, and to know that whatever they believe is possible, it's possible. And I've created this community while in a homeless environment, living in Section 8 apartments, going to libraries, setting up my interviews. And, no matter where I go from here, how much money I make, I still like simplicity. I like teaching and learning. And so it's kind of like being okay with where you are in your space, whether the world calls it acceptable or not. You could be a billionaire living in a trailer if that is what you love. And some people say it's living below your means. I say it's living happily. Sometimes there's a difference. Sometimes we think we gotta have this and this and this if we have this and this and this because that's what the world says that goes with that. But it's not. Whatever you find in this world that you love and you do it because that's what your soul desires, that is living happiness. Well, yes. Get my camera back open here. The main tool we use in Everfree in helping and supporting women in discovering their purpose is what I call numerology. And, your birthday, it marks your arrival into this world as a human. And your name is the sound that calls you forward. But what if these simple things carried a deeper message, a personal code just for you, just like our hands carry our fingerprints. No two people have the same ones. So at its core, numerology is an ancient practice that explores the connection between numbers and the events and characteristics of our lives. It's based on the idea that numbers are more than just tools for counting. They carry distinct energies or vibrations that can reveal insights about your personality, purpose, and the path you might take. Think of it kind of like as a personalized guide, helping you understand your own unique makeup. And like I have a lot of three energies in my numerology chart and my life path and my soul urge. And three energies are very creative and they're very communicative, but they also can be scattered. And growing up, people like say, "Oh, you got ADHD, ADHD," and I always thought that was them talking about me. I thought it was a bad thing, but then so I never accepted. I had ADHD. I just thought that all the other kids, their parents just didn't give them whoopings. Because when I got too out of hand, so to speak, we just got whoopings. And so as I got older, I learned about numerology and the three energies, and it was like I was reading missing pieces of my puzzle. It was like, that's why I've been doing all this. That's why I've been doing all this. And so it's like a self discovery tool for me that was filling in the blanks. That's just the things that had been missing. And so that's what it does for other people. It's like your own personal blueprint, so to speak.